Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my Switched at Birth review. Let's get started. So the episode starts off and Daphne and Jace are in the car making out, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I honestly think Daphne has a bad side to her already. She just doesn't like to show it, but I think Jace really makes her do worse things. They're cute together, but I honestly think he's a bit of a troublemaker. And I thought it was really cool how he just made up the story, which I don't even know if this is true, about how he's like British property, and if he's anywhere, it's considered British property. And I'm like, okay, like that's a really weird lie. And I'd probably be so confused, like the cop also, and just be like, yeah, just don't do this again and get out of here. So yeah. And I'm really glad that Bae and Daphne are, they're not fighting anymore. So I'm really glad that they're able to talk again, and help each other out, which, Bae needs help saving the Maui, Kansas thing. So I'm really glad Daphne helped her with that. And I'm glad that John is getting along with Regina. I'm really glad he had that heart attack, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have realized how much of a jerk he was being. So I'm really glad that he's finally, like, accepting, or at least letting go of his anger. So, yeah. And, Daphne suggests to get the Deaf Frankenstein movie from Emmett. And, she was like, so Bae goes over there, and she gets the video and everything, and they get the video actually from an auction, which I'm surprised they don't have it on DVD, because they said that the deaf kids watch it like a billion times. So I'm surprised that they didn't have their own copies. But yeah, so they bought that, and Bae hugs Emmett in the heat of the moment, and I'm just like, I hope Emmett doesn't get the wrong idea, because Emmett's face is just like, oh my gosh, he's hugging me, maybe I still have a chance. And just like, no, that's not what that hug means at all. And Bae realizes that, and that's why she quickly backs away. And I'm like, I hope Emmett doesn't do anything, And so, then it's Deaf Day at Maui, Kansas, and I felt really bad for Travis, because he's trying to, like, flirt with all these girls, but nobody wants to flirt with him. It's Deaf Day. Nobody wants to be his friend. I don't know. I felt bad for him. And then, Emmett comes in, and he has the wrong film. And I'm just like, is that the auctioneer's fault, or did they, like, purposely put, this is Deffenstein, but really send them Spinkenstein? I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely not the movie. Just like, that really sucks. Which I didn't get why they couldn't play the DVD, like Bae said. Yeah, it may be less quality, poor quality, but who cares? People just want to see the movie, right? And, oh my gosh, when Daphne and Jace are in the cafe, I was just like, Jeff's back? I'm like, when did he get back? Why is he here again? And it turns out that his fiance, works there, is the manager or something at the cafe. And I'm just like, and they've been together for 4 years. And I'm like, okay, so you've been together for 4 years, then how did you get with Daphne? Either you were on break, or, you were just cheating. And he was like, she was in Paris at that time. And I'm like, yeah, but you're still cheating. And then, Jace knows Daphne's history with this guy, so why would he invite them to Maui, Kansas? I'm just like, Jace, what are you doing? Sure, the cafe lady's your friend, but Jeff isn't, so what are you doing? I don't understand why he invited them. And, they go back to Bae and Emmett, and Emmett's like, I think I'll turn this off now. Bae's like, no, I want to keep watching. And it goes to the scene where they start making out. And Ty comes in, and he sees it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. Which I was like, Bae, you should let Emmett turn this off. And as soon as she saw the kissing scene, she should have turned it off. Like, I thought it would just be awkward between them. And especially since Ty walked in, yeah, that's not a good situation. And yeah, I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, I hope Ty doesn't kill Emmett or something, because so yeah, he really has nothing to worry about. You don't need to be so upset. I mean, that was their past relationship. He hooked up with that girl that he works with in the military. So I'm like, what's the difference if she went out with Emmett? I mean, you didn't wait for her really either. So yeah. And when Catherine goes and talks to John's dad, was it just me, or does he have like crazy eyes when they have that whole staring scene? I was just like, he looks like he's about to kill her. And when Jace and Daphne arrived to Maui, Kansas, um, you know, so everybody there thinks that everybody that is at Maui, Kansas that day is deaf. And so some guy bumps into Daphne and is like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot it was Helen Keller Day. And I'm just like, what makes you think that's okay? And I'm glad Jay stuck up for her. And yeah, I thought it was really funny how everyone just assumed Jace was deaf because he was hanging out with Daphne, or because he was at the Deaf Day thing. Like, no, people are allowed to be friends with deaf people, blind people, disabled people. Like, you shouldn't just assume. And yeah, I just thought that guy was such a jerk, and I'm like, that is the rudest comment ever. Like, no. Kind of wish that Jace punched him, but he didn't, and I think Daphne would have been upset if he did, so kind of glad he didn't. And, Travis, since he couldn't get a girl, he starts drinking, and he's playing this game where you have to shoot down at least 3 sharks, and he just cannot win. And I feel really bad because he's having, like a rough night, and he's had a rough life. And, he got 2 sharks, but he missed the last one, and I'm just like, Mary Lou? I think that's her name. I was just like, she should have just gave him a prize or something, or whatever he wanted. Like, he almost did it, and come on, give the guy a break. I mean, is the manager really going to miss one stuffed animal? I don't think so. And he had the money for it, so, and back to what I was saying earlier, when Daphne and Jace find the guy's jacket on the bench, that just proves how much Jace is a bad influence on her. I mean, like I said, Daphne already has a bad side to her because she was going to take the guy's cash money, but Jace wanted to take his credit card. And I mean, to me, it's like, it's one thing to take cash, but it's another to take credit card. I mean, when you take cash, that can't be traced. And I'm like, Jace, why would you want to take his credit card? Like, I don't know. I thought that was really stupid. And yeah, I mean, he's a bad influence, kind of. I'm a little iffy about him. I like him, but he's a little too dangerous, I guess. I felt really bad for Toby's fiance. Can't think of her name. And he talks to the guy, and the guy's like, he's where I got my drugs from. And I'm like, her dad was a drug dealer? Like, oh my gosh, that sucks. And she's over here thinking her dad's the greatest guy in the world, and he could be. It's just that he sold drugs too, so that's partly the reason why. And I mean, I honestly think that the guy was sincere about it, about being sorry and everything. And everybody says, oh, now I found God after they're in jail, but I mean, they do. I mean, that's the only person they can really turn to if they don't really have anybody. So. And then, Bae finds out that Ty's leaving really soon. And I'm just like, Ty, why wouldn't you tell her about any of this? And, they get into this little argument. And he's like, oh, you're just going to ditch me like last time. Well, last time it was, this is going to sound weird, but it was just your first go around your relationship. And you did leave her 2 days before. You told her 2 days before you left. So it's like, what kind of warning is that for me? Like, I didn't get to savor every moment with you. I just went on, ignored you if I wanted to, like, that wasn't okay. And, Ty's just really worried that's going to be like last time, and I'm like, it's going to be different. I mean, you know, you guys have had time to separate, and you guys know what that feels like, and now you're back together, and so now you know that it's real because you ended up back together when you came back. So something's gotta be right. Yeah. And then Jeff shows up at Maui, Kansas without his fiance, and I'm like, what is he doing there? And it's kind of really creepy because he just kind of sneaks up behind Daphne. And Jeff tells Daphne that his fiance now knows about his cheating. And I'm like, Jeff, why would you blame Daphne? I mean, because if Daphne told, that kind of puts her in jeopardy too. So why would she tell anybody? And it was freaking Jace who told, which I understand because the cafe girl is his friend, so I understand that. But at the same time, Daphne didn't want you to tell, so I guess it's kind of that pick and choose situation where are you going to choose your friend or you're going to choose your girlfriend's decision, so, which I think he made the right decision, just, you know, it just so happens that Daphne has a history with him, so that's why it didn't work out. And I'm really glad that John is getting along with his dad now, so maybe they can have a relationship later on in the season, and, you know, they can finally bond, and he can help Toby get into college, and I really hope that, I kind of really want Toby and that girl to be together. I think they're good for each other. There's a lot of differences between them, but I think they're also good. Yeah, I just felt bad for Toby because, you know, once he tells his fiance, she gets mad at him and she's like, I can't believe you will believe him. I mean, I don't know, people will, I don't really know how to explain. I mean, I understand why he believed him, but at the same time, no, you shouldn't believe him. But, I don't know, I believed him. And I mean, if he was lying, then, yeah, you know, like Toby said, I'm sorry for believing him, but I don't know. You know, he didn't really know the guy, so what is he supposed to believe? I mean, yeah, you know, your fiance tells you that he's a good guy, but people do have secret lives, so anything could happen. And, I thought it was really awkward how Travis asks Mary Lou out, and I was just like, that's really weird, because, you know, she knows absolutely nothing about signing, and she gets the first half, and then she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't get that, and he ends up just having to type out, will you go out with me sometime. I honestly don't think that's gonna go anywhere. I mean, I'm kind of hoping it does, because they're both lonely, and they both really do need somebody to be there for them, but I don't see it going anywhere, really. Maybe just, you know, friends, but nothing more. And I was really glad when, you know, Ty came and apologized to Bay, and, you know, they made up and everything. I was like, well, I'm glad they got that worked out. And I'm like, yeah, you guys just need to live in the moment, and when he leaves, and, you know, you'll deal with it when it comes. And, you know, Daphne is really upset at Jace because Jace has been doing some really not so good stuff this episode, so I hope they make up in the next one. I mean, they are two different people, and I agree with Jace's statement completely. When he was like, the only difference between me and you is basically that he, you know, he says what he thinks, but Daphne just likes to sneak around to do it, which I think his statement was true. Daphne is a troublemaker. She just doesn't like to say it, and, you know, she does it secretly. She doesn't do it out in the open like Jace does, which I can't believe she pinned the whole you blackmailed the senator thing, because okay, everything else was true, but that one thing, you decided to do that. I mean, well, you both did, so I was like, you can't really pin that one on him. So I didn't think that was a fair blow. But yeah, I really do hope that they make up. I mean, in the previews, I don't know, it doesn't look so good, but hopefully they do. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Toodles!